This is it, and see you in July.
June 24th, 2009. The king of pop electrified the stage one final time. Within 24 hours, he would be gone forever. This is the true story of Michael Jackson's last day on Earth, a day filled with music, mystery, and a deadly decision. At 1 p.m. Michael Jackson began his final day in the peaceful luxury of his rented Holmby Hills mansion. Despite the grandeur surrounding him, Jackson's world was eerily quiet. The singer had long suffered from chronic insomnia, a burden he carried silently. The isolation, the pressure of a global comeback tour, and his fragile mental state all weighed on him. Staff described him as subdued that day, slow to rise, not speaking much. It was a day like any other in recent weeks, yet nothing like any other. His personal physician, Dr. Conrad Murray, stayed close. Michael's day started not with joy, but with fatigue. This wasn't the day of a megastar on top of the world. It was the beginning of a silent countdown. At 6:30 p.m., Michael arrived at the Staples Center. The world would remember this rehearsal as legendary. On that stage, he looked vibrant, alive. Rehearsing Earth Song, he moved with grace, his voice full of passion. Backup dancers cheered. His choreographer wept at his brilliance. But, backstage, he was frail. He clutched his back. He leaned on others for support. No one could see the internal war. Michael gave his all, like he always did. The stage was his sanctuary. That night he didn't look like a man at the edge. He looked like the king, preparing for a final reign. Cameras captured the moments. It would be the last footage of him alive. The world didn't know. But Michael's curtain was about to fall. At 12:30 a.m. the night was calm when Michael returned home just after midnight. The gates closed behind him like a silent finale. The house was dimly lit. Security stood still. Inside, Michael was exhausted, but not sleepy. He paced. He complained of his usual enemy, insomnia. Dr. Murray was ready. Michael's children were asleep. The king of pop was alone with his physician, desperate for rest. But sleep wouldn't come. The pressure of the upcoming tour weighed heavily on him. He hadn't had proper rest in days. And as the hours ticked on, Michael began to beg for something stronger, something to knock him out. The clock ticked. The final hours were creeping in. Outside, Los Angeles slept. Inside, history was about to be made. The war against insomnia intensified. At 1:30 a.m., Dr. Murray gave Michael a dose of Valium. It didn't work. At 2:02 a.m., he administered lorazepam. Still no sleep. At 3 a.m., midazolam. Nothing. Michael, restless and agitated, begged for the one drug he believed could save him, propofol. Murray hesitated. This wasn't a hospital. There were no monitors, no crash cart. But Michael insisted. He had taken it before. He needed rest to survive. As dawn approached, the doctor relented. Each hour brought another sedative. Each dose brought him closer to the edge. The house was still. Only the beeping of medical equipment echoed in the dark. In those hours, the superstar was not rehearsing, not performing. He was fading. Slowly, silently, tragically. At 10:40 a.m., Dr. Murray administered 25 milligrams of propofol into Michael Jackson's vein. It was the drug of surgeons, not sleep specialists. It was not meant for homes. But Michael had built a reliance on it, a desperate solution to an endless problem. As the milky white liquid entered his body, Michael finally drifted into unconsciousness. Dr. Murray, believing he had achieved rest, left his side briefly. But propofol doesn't forgive. Without oxygen, without monitoring, and with the accumulation of other sedatives in his system, Michael's breathing slowed. His heartbeat weakened. The mansion, so often filled with music, fell into a deadly silence. No alarms rang, no one screamed. The man who had once commanded stadiums was now alone, sedated and slipping away. Somewhere around 11 a.m., Dr. Murray returned to find Michael unresponsive. His breathing had stopped. Panic set in. He tried CPR on a soft mattress with one hand. It was a critical mistake. No oxygen, no defibrillator, no 911 call for nearly an hour. Precious minutes passed. Time was ticking against them. The mansion was quiet, but chaos filled Dr. Murray's mind. He called out to staff, ordered them to get help. But help was far behind time. The world didn't know, but its biggest star was already gone. In those fateful moments, life had left Michael Jackson's body. All that remained was disbelief, and the beginning of a cover-up that would soon shake the world. At 12:21 p.m., the long-overdue 911 call was finally placed. "We have a gentleman here. He's not breathing." Paramedics rushed to the scene. They found Michael pulseless. No signs of life. They administered epinephrine, intubated him, shocked his heart. Nothing worked. They rushed him into the ambulance and sped through Los Angeles traffic to UCLA Medical Center. Sirens screamed through the air as fans outside the mansion grew anxious. But inside the vehicle, the truth was sinking in. The man they were trying to save had likely died over an hour ago. But they couldn't stop. He was Michael Jackson, and for the next 60 minutes the world held its breath. At UCLA Medical Center, doctors did everything they could. For over an hour they fought to bring him back, but nothing changed. At 2:26 p.m., Michael Jackson, the king of pop, was officially declared dead. News hadn't broken yet. Fans stood outside hospitals and studios unaware. Inside the ER there were tears, silence, and disbelief. Nurses who grew up on Thriller wept. Doctors couldn't believe the moment they were witnessing. The world's most famous performer was gone. Not on a stage, not in a spotlight, but in a sterile hospital room. Despite the efforts of those who tried to undo what had been done, the autopsy revealed what many feared. The official cause of death: acute propofol intoxication, with benzodiazepines as contributing factors. It wasn't natural. It wasn't peaceful. It was ruled a homicide. Michael's body had become a battlefield of drugs administered improperly. The coroner's report stunned the public. How could this happen to a man surrounded by wealth, doctors, and security? The answer: gross negligence. Dr. Conrad Murray's license would later be revoked. He was found guilty of involuntary manslaughter, but no court ruling could restore what had been lost. The truth was clear. Michael Jackson didn't die of fame, he died of neglect. News broke like thunder. TMZ posted it first, then CNN, then the world. People flooded the streets. Candlelight vigils erupted from London to Lagos. Fans cried, danced, collapsed. For many, it felt like the end of an era. His family was devastated. His children had lost their father. Lawsuits flew. Investigations deepened. The media frenzy was relentless. But amid the noise, a global realization emerged. Michael Jackson wasn't just an icon. He was a fragile human, one who had given everything to the world and asked only for peace in return. That peace he never found in life. But the world hoped he had found it in death. The legacy lives on. Michael Jackson is gone, but his legacy echoes louder than ever. He redefined music, dance, and celebrity. From Billie Jean to Man in the Mirror, he gave the world Uita, soundtrack to dream to. And though his final 24 hours were filled with tragedy, his life was filled with triumph. The boy from Gary, Indiana, rose to global royalty. He broke barriers. He challenged norms. He inspired generations. He was haunted by fame, hunted by media, and yet he kept performing, because that's who he was, a performer, a father, a symbol, a legend. Rest in peace, Michael. The stage is yours, forever. If this story moved you, subscribe for more powerful true stories. Leave a comment with your favorite MJ memory.